Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another video. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell so you will be updated on all my future content. So this video is going to focus on adding fractions with unlike denominators using the butterfly method. So our first example is 5/7 plus 1/12. I'm going to go through step by step how to solve that problem. So step one, we need to find a common denominator because we cannot add fractions with different denominators. So one of the quickest, most efficient ways to find a common denominator is by multiplying the two different denominators. So we're going to multiply 7 times 12, 7 times 12. Equals 84. So 84 is our common denominator. Now to find the numerators, we have to multiply each numerator times the opposite denominator. So we're going to multiply 5 times 12, and we're going to multiply 7 times 1. 5 times 12 equals 60. 7 times 1 equals 7. So now that we have our new numerators and our common denominator, now we can simply add the numerators, and we will have our answer. 60 plus 7 equals 67. Now that we have a common denominator, it stays the same. And we have our final answer. 5/7 plus 1/12 equals 67/84. All right, moving on to the next example problem. It's the Mr. Camilleri show. It's the Mr. C. It's the Mr. Camilleri show. Shout out to Mr. C. All right, we have 1/2 plus 7/8. So step one, got to find a common denominator, and we do that by multiplying our two separate denominators. 2 times 8 equals 16, so 16 will be our common denominator. Shout out to everybody tuning in. Please hit the like button. It really helps the algorithm. So next we multiply each numerator times the opposite denominator. So 1 times 8 equals 8. 2 times 7 equals 14. Now that we have a common denominator, we simply keep the denominator the same and add the numerators. So 8 plus 14 equals 22. So we have our answer. Oh, oops. Almost wrote the wrong thing there. We have our answer. 1/2 plus 7/8 equals 22/16. Now this answer is not reduced to lowest terms. This can be reduced further, but I do usually like to keep the reducing fractions to lowest terms videos and the converting improper fractions to mixed number videos. I like to make those their own separate videos. So for this video, we'll leave that as the final answer, but the problem can be reduced. All right, moving on to the next example problem. It's the Mr. Camilleri show. It's the Mr. C. It's the Mr. Camilleri show. Shout out to Mr. C. All right, we have 3/4 plus 3/10. So step one, we got to find a common denominator, and we will do that by multiplying our two separate denominators. So 4 times 10 equals 40. 40 is our common denominator. Next, we multiply each numerator by the opposite denominator. So we are going to multiply 3 times 4 and 4 times 3. We are going to multiply 3 times 10 and 4 times 3. My mistake. So 3 times 10 equals 30. 4 times 3 equals 12. So we have 30/40ths. 3/4 is converted to 30/40ths. 3/10 is converted to 12/40ths. And now we are going to add our numerators together, and we are going to keep our denominator the same. 30 plus 12 equals 42. The denominator stays the same. And we have our answer. 3/4 plus 3/10 equals 42/40ths. Now again, that answer can be reduced. 42/40ths can be reduced to lowest terms. This is not in lowest terms, and it can also be converted into a mixed number, but again, converting improper fractions to mixed numbers, I like to make that its own video. Reducing fractions to lowest terms, I also like to make that its own video. So that will be our final answer for this video. Next example. It's the Mr. Camilleri show. It's the Mr. C. Is the Mr. Camilleri show. Shout out to Mr. C. All right. Next example. You are watching adding fractions with unlike denominators using the butterfly method. Step 1. We multiply our two separate denominators to find a common denominator. 5 times 7 equals 35. 35 will be our common denominator. Next, we cross multiply. Each numerator will get multiplied by the opposite denominator. So here we go. 3 times 7 equals 21. 5 times 1 equals 5. Now the next step is simply to add our numerators. 21 plus 5 equals 26. And we have our final answer. 3/5 plus 1/7 equals 26/35. All right, moving on to the next example problem. So we have 7/8 plus 1/12. So step 1, we multiply to find a common denominator. 8 times 12 equals 96. So 96 is our common denominator. In the last problem, I didn't write out what the fractions would be converted to. I think I'm going to alternate writing out the new fractions and not writing out the new fractions. But here we go. So we multiply our numerator times the opposite denominator. 1 times 8 equals 8. 7 times 12 equals 84. So we have 84/96 plus 8/96. So 84 plus 8 equals 92. Denominator stays the same, and we have our answer. 84 plus 7/8 plus 1/12 equals 92/96. I'll make more of these more frequently. I will. Now again, this answer is the final answer for this video, but 92/96 is not reduced to lowest terms. It can be reduced. I'm going to save the reducing fractions for another video though. All right. Next example. This will probably be the last example problem of the video. So we have 1/5 plus 3/4. So step 1, we multiply our two separate denominators to find a common denominator. 5 times 4 equals 20. Next, we multiply each numerator times the opposite denominator. So 1 times 4 equals 4. 5 times 3 equals 15. Four plus 15 equals 19, and we have our final answer, 1/5 plus 3/4 equals 19/20. All right, that is my live stream for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Leave a comment. Let me know what you thought of the video. And if there is an area of math or reading that you're having difficulty with, put that in the comments and I will do a future video on that skill. Until next time, this is Mr. Camilleri signing off. Thank you for tuning in to the Mr. Camilleri Show YouTube channel.